This is probably one of the funniest, this is so funny because it's like the one couple that they decided to show happened to be having an affair. Nationers, welcome back to another episode of The Realest Podcast, episode 79. Again, no banner right behind me, but we do have Sal. I'm recording this in my bedroom once again because, Nationers, I am still under my non-weight-bearing restriction for my foot injury that I am currently dealing with, but nonetheless, it is great to see you guys in here. I still want to deliver this podcast out to all of you guys who watch, listen, subscribe, like the video, whatever it may be, supporting this podcast in any which way, shape, or form. I want to make sure to get a podcast out to each and every single one of you guys, especially because, I can still record. I make content for my room in general. Yes, there's a bed behind me, but that's not the content that I make, but I do stream, I do make content, and I could still do everything that I would have already done, up in the podcast room here as well. So, still want to get these podcasts out to you guys. We have a lot to talk about today. I initially came into scripting this video, this episode, with a few pre-topics, and then I was like, let me look up everything new that happened this week that I feel important, things that I enjoy talking about. There's a few bits and bobs that are just kind of culturally interesting. So I want to talk about that. But before we get into today's episode, if you guys are watching on YouTube, thank you guys. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you guys are new around here. I'm currently on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We have a handful of new subscribers because of all the shorts that we've been posting. So shout out to all of those people who have been subscribed and currently are subscribing right now. I hope that you're hitting the subscribe button to join the realist community on the internet and continue to support this podcast. If you guys are watching and listening on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast through audio, thank you guys. Make sure to leave a 5-star rating on the podcast. It means a lot to me. And with that said, let's get into what I want to talk about today. Okay, because there's a few things that happened earlier this morning. I woke up, I decided to go lift, and typically what happens with sometimes the afternoon kind of wake up time, because this entire week, by the way, Nationers, I didn't even write this on my pre-topics on the discussion of what I want to talk about, but this entire week, Monday through Friday, I was going to do 5 10-hour live streams. But then Thursday came, the 4th day, and I was like, I think we can finish what we were playing, and that game was Red Dead Redemption 1. I ended up finishing it 100% of the game. I unlocked all the outfits, completed all of the bounties. I completed everything in the game. And the crazy part about that in particular is it happened way sooner than I had thought. It took me 39 hours, 36 minutes, and 40 seconds, which is incredibly awesome because I looked up a few, there's a website called How Long to Beat, and they have basically statistics from other people that have completed the story, completed the main side quests as well, completionist, meaning 100%ing, which was I was doing, and they have, basically, they take all the data that anyone's ever entered into their website for a particular game. I looked up Red Dead, and I was looking at the completionist because I want to 100% the game. And it said that it took about 47 hours to complete it. I finished that 8 hours ahead of schedule, which I was super happy about, so I did not have to stream Friday. I'm working on all the clips. I'm getting everything done that I need to get done, and life is good. So that's what I was doing this week, and so that's why I woke up incredibly late. Because Friday I was still kind of in the groove, so I still kind of woke up early, 11, and then I went to bed last night, woke up today, and there was a soccer game on. There was for football, for my non-American audience, football, there was a football game on, And it was between France and Germany. It was in the UEFA Women's Euro Cup, and they were in the quarterfinals. So 8 teams left. The winner would go on to the semifinals and face Spain, and it was an incredible match. I was lifting down there. I was doing some hammer curls. I was doing some bench press. I was working the upper body just simply because that's kind of all that I can really work out right now. My calf has been really tight just because I've been in the boot. My Achilles and all of that complex has been very, very weak. So like I was looking up a few things on like, is this normal? Like, is this completely normal? So just making sure that I can do what I need to do to heal this foot properly. But there happened to be a game going on, and it was a stellar game. Apparently, and I was finding out because I came in maybe around like the 96 minutes, so I came in extra time. Not like extra time of the normal full-length game, but like extra time. So think about it like overtime in most sports. It was the first 15, so the first half of extra time. And I came in about 96 minutes in, and they're all commentating. You know, we go to halftime, we do all this. And as I'm watching, I find out, like, Germany's been down a person since the 13th minute. There was a penalty that was saved in, like, the 69th minute. And, like, it's a 1-1 game. And so Germany's just like playing defense the entire time. They're on their back foot. Like they were able to get a penalty, scored, and another that didn't go their way. There was a whole bunch that went on to it. And a lot of the commentators, Alexi Lawless and the lady that was also doing color commentary, she had mentioned like, oh, like if they go into penalty kicks, which typically happens after the full 30 minutes, the two halves of 15, two 15-minute halves, that is. Then they go to penalty shootouts, that Germany would have the advantage because they have better shooters, better penalty scorers. And funny enough, it's kind of, there was just so much that led up into that. The goalkeeper for Germany had 9 overall saves in the actual game, 2 saves in penalties, which it was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. So kudos out to Germany, who ended up actually advancing. And oh my gosh, it was an insane game because I'm just like lifting and I'm like, wow, like France, they had so many opportunities, but they were, I think the one thing, and I'm not going to go too deep into this, but if you watch that game or you know, maybe watch highlights of that or interested in the women's circuit of what's going on over in Europe, the one thing that I noticed about the French offense was that they were looking for like the perfect kill shot. They were looking for the perfect kill shot throughout like the full time, like mostly the full time, the 30 minutes, the extra time, that is not full time, but the extra time, the extra 2 15-minute halves. I probably saw like really one shot. There was one that in the first 15, right before they finished it, clearance by the defender, it happens to kind of soar right into the framing of the net, and the goalkeeper gets a hand on and saves it. And I genuinely, that was insane. Like I was like, oh man, that's gonna veer in. Oh, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I love sports like this where I'm not like rooting for either side. It's good sports. But the one thing was the only other shot that I'd seen was in like the final attempt, the final attack. They were just crossing the ball constantly. They had so many areas to attack the 18-yard line and just get a shot off. There's so much chaos. You could get a penalty. You might get, especially with a very fatigued defense as Germany was, 110 minutes into the game, there could have been more opportunities to shoot. Like I just never saw this French team shoot, and the only time that they did, 7 attempts, 2 of them were saved, and again, Germany does advance into the semifinals against Spain, which this has got me excited because I don't get the chance to watch a whole lot of sports, especially now that I'm kind of on this foot. So like it's either I'm laying down, maybe lifting, eating food. So my days have been very monotonous, to say the least, because I'm not really able to move. Once I'm able to walk on this, kind of pretty much at the end of the month, like once July goes into August, I can start walking on it a little bit more. And the one main thing is the walking is very minimal. It's not like I just get up and I could go walk like a mile. Like walking is like, okay, can you walk across your room? Like my room, you can see, like basically you guys are in a closet, so you can imagine where you guys are at to the wall. It's like, okay, can you walk across the room? Can you do this? Like, and not overdoing too much. Like, okay, walk across the room. do that 10 times. You know what I mean? So it's very much just like you have to get function back into your foot. It's building a lot of scar tissue. It's building a lot of the tissue that it needs to, especially for walking on it. So that's been very interesting, to say the least. And my left foot is obviously doing with pretty much the exact same thing that my right foot was, just because I'm like, wow, I'm like having to use my entire foot. So it's putting a lot of strain on my left foot. And I'm like, oh, please do not hurt my left foot, because I'm trying to heal my right foot, because I'm going to have to heal my left foot, and that's going to weaken the already weakened foot. So I'm taking it very cautiously as much as I can. But again, a great match. And speaking of something that's not been taken very cautiously, another pre-topic that I have, there's just been a lot of pre-topics where you guys probably see the title, Tech Executives, Tech CEO Caught at a Coldplay Concert. Insane. Not even a part of the pre-topics. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more pre-topics. I've given a boot update, so we'll say 5 more. Tomorrowland. There was a fire at the main set of Tomorrowland, which is one of the biggest festivals in Europe. It's EDM, ravey type of vibe, and it's a bunch of electro music, house music, you name it, it's there. There's a huge fire. Like, the set looks sick. It was this giant, like, almost like crystal castle. And the unfortunate part is 2 days before the event was supposed to start, it started yesterday, Friday that is, there was a massive fire that caused pretty much the entire set to like go up in flames, be engulfed in flames. And it's so sad because you see like videos of like Alan Walker that I'd seen, and you could just see like they tried their best to kind of like at least be like, hey, it's there. You know, I think everything does happen for a reason. And as tragic as it is, because I'm sure somebody, you know, spent a lot of money on the preparation, the planning, you know, maybe a group of people, you know, that were setting up everything. They've been planning this for months, and a few days, 48 hours before it was supposed to go and everyone was supposed to see it, it caught fire. And you know, then you have to scramble and panic. At least it's not like the day of. At least it's not while there's thousands and millions of people there. So that's good. At least they had a little bit of time. And again, I think everything happens for a reason. And I don't know if it's karma. I don't know if it's like God testing someone. However, but it is something that I, again, find, you know, it is weird. You know, you put it in terms of like, if you believe that everything happens for a reason, this did happen for a reason. So all of that to say, super insane fire going over in Belgium. I believe that's where it's at. I'm not too familiar with Tomorrowland. I've only kind of heard like sidemen and other people kind of adjacent, you know, like, oh, we've gone to Tomorrowland and whatnot. So I don't really know too much, but I'd seen a report that that had happened, and that was crazy. But what's even crazier is that Ryan Trahan, someone that we talked about a few episodes ago, him and his wife Haley have been going on 50 states in 50 days. And it's super awesome because they just hit the 5 million mark. They also just hit the 6 million mark. I believe I have it pulled up right here. Again, wonders. Oh, they're super close. They are super close to hitting $7 million raised, which would be super awesome. A lot of people have speculated that they would attempt to try and reach 10 million because they're only 3 million away. And this series is technically not over yet. And so this is going to be interesting because with them being 4 days ahead. So think about it this way. The 4th of July episode, the Massachusetts episode, was posted on July 8th. So 11 days ago as of recording this. They're currently in Iowa right now for, you know, 7/19. And that means that today, they're probably in Montana. Tomorrow, they're probably going to Idaho. And then Monday, they'll probably be in Washington. So that's going to be super cool. Big Washington fan myself because I live here. So that's one thing that is going on. So it seems like Monday, they'll probably be in Washington, which then by next Friday, we should be able to see that episode. But think about it when the final thing comes through, because Alaska and Hawaii are probably going to be the final 2 states. So think about it that way. They are probably going to have to figure out something to do with the donations, because people are going to still be donating for the next 3-4 days that they're not technically recording. So what I think is that they're going to do like a finale, and that finale is going to be like an hour long, and it's going to be the travel from either Alaska over to Hawaii. Now, oh, this could be interesting. Okay, I want to do a full breakdown. I mentioned this before when we did that Ryan Trahan Airbnb podcast episode, but this would be very interesting. If they go up through South and North Dakota, they go over to Wyoming, Montana, they stay in the south of Idaho because there is a Airbnb, there's a potato one. They've already done it. I think it's one of the most unique ones that they could get a hold of. But I think it's close enough if you are in the Boise area, the Meridian area, the south end of Idaho, that you could make it all the way to California, go up the coast to Oregon and Washington, because the drive through Canada and to Alaska is not that bad. That could also be another route that I could see. That would be kind of crazy if that's what they did, because there's not much between Washington and Alaska there. I don't exactly think that's where you'd find a really cool Airbnb. It also could be a very long drive around a major city like Anchorage, so you catch a flight and then you go all the way to Hawaii, because the one thing about going from Hawaii to Alaska is I think there might be an hour time change. I don't think there's a 2-hour time change. I'm assuming it depends on where you're at in Alaska. However, that could be a route. This final leg, again, is going to be interesting. Again, I'm predicting Monday they're going to be in Washington, so next week we'll find out. I'll give you my thoughts on that. I'm also going to be doing a video predicting where Ryan Trahan is going to stay in Washington. I hope that video does well, so if you guys actually do see that on my main channel or anywhere, at I'm Jared Hathaway, make sure to go like it. It's going to be one of those ones, and I hope I predict it very well. So, again, maybe another route. The ending where there's going to be like 4 extra days. I think that they could just do like donation after donation day. Be like, hey, like, we're back. This is day 1. Like, you guys have probably just finished this day, so we're reading donations for that day. Because, again, they're going to be reading donations for either Hawaii or Alaska, the final Airbnb, but it's going to be 4 days delayed. So that's going to be like a mega donation day, because people can still donate. And so like the next day, they're not going to have anywhere to go other than back home or maybe staying in that area. So they're not going to have like a new Airbnb location to go to. So it would be super awesome if they did hit 10 million. A lot of people have said like activating everything on the Wheel of Doom at once. So that will be quite interesting to see what they end up doing. Because it is, it's pretty rocking. I'm enjoying the series. I've not missed an episode so far. I've loved the drone shots. I've loved the aura farming, clip farming memes that Haley has been, posted on like ESPN. Like I've seen MLB do it. I've seen like a whole bunch of soccer teams do it, and so super funny to kind of witness that. Again, it's going to be super cool. I know a lot of people have been pretty excited to see like what he's doing in their state. Obviously, Texas being one of the first ones. I'm in Washington, so like I've had to kind of go through a bunch of different states and kind of wait almost in a way to see what happens. I think this is almost an error in my mind. I almost feel let's say like there's no Airbnb reservation issues. I would have said that they should have gone through Arizona, California, Nevada. They should have done all these big states first, because all the tiny states, the traveling distance is so minimal, but now they're in the gauntlet that Ryan Trahan's been calling it. That is these long drives. Like Montana is a long drive. So I think that they should have done that, because these states are not big or not tiny anymore. And now that this series is nearing 7 million, it's at $6,915,000. So maybe during this recording, we might be able to see that. However, super cool. Awesome for Ryan, awesome for Haley, awesome for the kids at St. Jude's. Obviously, that's a lot of money going into taking care of anyone dealing with childhood cancer, anyone dealing with disabilities, whatever it may be. It is super awesome to see. So with that, Felix Baumgartner, a adrenaline junkie. He recently just passed away in a recreational paragliding accident, which is super heartbreaking for people at Red Bull, his family, of course. But because you may remember, and you may have seen videos of him actually jumping out of almost like a tethered to a weather balloon, almost like a pod, an astronaut pod. He base jumped pretty much. He jumped from space and landed in New Mexico. And I remember when I was, how old would I have been? Probably 11, maybe 10 or 11, because it happened in 2012, and it depends on when it would happen. But I remember watching that jump, and now 13 years later, rest in peace, man. That was super fun to see. Like, he has pushed the boundaries of what human adrenaline junkies can do. And so shout out to Felix, rest in peace, because he was a pivotal, core memory of mine, you might add. So rest in peace to Felix. I don't really know how to transition out of things like this. All that to say, GTA 6, there was a predicted amount that they would earn on day one, and there would also be a predicted amount that they would earn in the first 2 months. Now, these numbers are historic. GTA 6 is set to release in May of 2026, so a little less than a year from now, and people have predicted, economic experts, not me, I'm not the one predicting, it's not like complex, people that know these types of things, economists have predicted that GTA 6 would make $2 billion on day one. That would be the biggest thing in industry, in entertainment, from movies to books to TV shows, anything that has to do with entertainment, that would break it. And now, that's just in day one. So you can imagine what day 60 looks like. Day 60, the first 2 months roughly, is supposed to be making, and they predicted $7.6 billion within the first 60 days, which is insane. Now, yes, obviously it's a steep graph and it kind of mellows off, but that's still a pretty high margin. Almost 4 times within the first times 60. So yeah, it's got about like okay. Yeah, 15, 0.15 or something, some exponential rate of that. So that's freaking crazy. How much has GTA 5 earned? GTA 5 net worth? Maybe, I don't know exactly how to do that. So GTA 5 has generated a massive amount of revenue since its release. As of November of 2024, it sold over 200 million units. That translates to 8.6 billion. And some people have estimated that it's been, exceeded 10 billion. That's insane. I don't know how many copies that would be, especially for GTA 6, because GTA 6 will probably be more expensive than GTA 5. But that is a lot of money. That is a lot of money. And speaking of a lot of things, McDonald's is launching a double XL fries meal only in Malaysia as of right now. I'm sure that they're testing it there, and we might see a double XL French fry meal possibly in America at some point. If that happens, obesity rates are on the rise again. They are on the decline, but they're on the rise again. If that drops, that would be kind of insane. That'd be a fun video to like speed run eating it, if you know what I mean. Like, I feel like that would be like a fun little speed run. Because it's like the double XL French fry meal. That's kind of nuts. So it apparently is only exclusive in a limited time drop in Malaysia, but I'm sure we might see it in different parts of the world, especially with the testing that they're probably doing there. So all of that to say, they're probably making they would make a ton of money if they did that in America. They would. But there are apparently a few people that are not going to be making a lot of money, almost giving up a few money. So let's take you to July 16th at a Coldplay concert. There was apparently a tech CEO, Andy Byron, and Kristen Cabot. They were supposedly caught on camera, and their reactions are very interesting. And it has become what I would call the meme of the summer. Oh my goodness, Nationers. This is probably one of the funniest, this is so funny because it's like, man, the one couple that they decided to show happened to be having an affair. That is like, you cannot write that. I'm sure that there are screenwriters out there, writers for shows, writers for movies that are probably doing something similar. Like we've seen like the Philadelphia baseball team, the Nationals. Is it the Nationals? I don't know what their team name is off the top of my head. I'm not going to look it up. We're going to keep rocking with this. But the Philadelphia baseball team, they had the mascots do it. I've seen a few people that have been on almost a kiss cam-like moment where, they pan the camera to the audience, and they have done the exact same thing, which is kind of funny. Someone also brought a sign. It almost kind of reminds me of the guy at the Celtics game where he pops up a paper and it's like, "This is my sister." But this one happened to be like, this is my wife. It was so funny. So apparently on June 16th, at a Coldplay concert, Andy Byron and Kristen Cabot were caught on camera, and their reactions were quite interesting. Chris Martin noted that he was like, what are they doing? He's either caught them in an affair or that they're very shy. And again, when I talk about losing money, it's because they were having an affair. They were. The craziest part about it is that not only is that man, Andy Byron, the CEO of a tech company called Astronomer AI, but Kristen Cabot is also the HR. She's the head of HR. She's the chief people's officer, the CPO. She is head of HR. The one person that that's supposed to be the role model. You know, the one person that's supposed to be like no intercompany relationships, especially from a power standpoint, you know, being the boss to like the secretary. The HR guys, the one person that's supposed to be like, no, no, no. There apparently is also another woman that had a very gawing reaction that was smiling, was like, oh crap, because everyone else is like, like camera moment for me. Like there's a dude in the background being like, yeah. But this one woman, she had a very gawing reaction. She was smiling, a hand on her face. She was like deeply embarrassed. And a lot of people pointed out that on the Astronomer LinkedIn that it was another coworker at the Coldplay concert with the two. And the funniest part is that she also works in HR. You cannot write this stuff, guys. Like, if you were to ever write a comedy, it's probably happened. It's probably happened. I can't wait for the South Park episode about this. Like South Park, their writers have been known to like be very culturally involved. They are pretty fast on their feet when it comes to it. So like something happens, the episode's out within the next few weeks. So all that to say, I can't wait for something like that. There was apparently a headline that had been circulating on the internet, and it was a statement from Andy Byron, who again was CEO. He is CEO. Well, I say was because he really is now. But apparently that headline is fake. And the reason how I found this out was I was like, okay, I was trying to find the post because I know I'd seen posts on Instagram talking about like the statement. I could not find it. But apparently I watched a video, Dylan Page's video, shout out the News Daddy Empire. He had stated that this was actually fake. Apparently, it got community notes, I think, on Twitter. And so that apparently is fake, so hence why I can't find it on anything. And so there's still a few articles out there. I'm sure they'll correct it. Nationers, $6,922,000. We are closing on $7 million. We're going to watch it right as it happens. So apparently this statement that stated, I want to acknowledge the moment that's been circulating online and the disappointment it's caused. What was supposed to be a night of music and joy turned to a deeply personal mistake playing out on a very public stage. I want to sincerely apologize to my wife, my family, and the team and Astronomer. You deserve better from me as a partner, a father, and as a leader. This is not who I want to be or how I want to represent the company I helped build. I'm taking time to reflect, to take accountability, and to figure out my next steps. Personally, professionally, I ask for privacy as I navigate this process. I want to express how troubling it is that what should have been a private moment became public without my consent. I respect artists and entertainers, but I hope we can all think more deeply about the impact of turning someone else's life into a spectacle. So this is fake, by the way. There's a few errors in here. He says, as a friend once saying, "A light will guide you home, and tonight your bones I will try to fix you." That's a Coldplay line. There's apparently a few errors in this. So apparently there's a space before a comma. There's also after the word spectacle in that final real paragraph. That's not the quote. It's like spectacle period FI. Plus, now knowing that this is fake, as much as this looks really real, and everyone ran with it. So that's always the one thing, like news articles are going to run with fake stuff all of the time. And there's probably a billion people that probably think that that's exactly what he wrote. And now they are ruining this guy's life even more. He's already been put on blast. He's become the meme of the summer. Mind you, I don't think that Kristen is going to get much of the brunt. Not because she's a woman, it's just because she's not like the CEO. Now, if she were the CEO and he were HR, I think that she would get a ton of the brunt. Now, again, with this statement, again, people have read this. I thought this was completely real. Mind you, most people aren't looking at like things like punctuation or just like a little spelling error. Like most people aren't looking at that. And a lot of people would probably look at this, say it's real, even if like it comes out that it's fake. There's no, like, the article's not coming out being like, hey, that was a fake article. The articles are being like, hey, he's now resigned. That's the news. So apparently there is a real statement that came out. As stated previously, Astronomer is committed to the values and culture that have guided us since our founding. Our leaders have expected to set both the standard in conduct and accountability, and recently that standard was not met. Andy Byron has tendered his resignation, and the board of directors has accepted. The board will begin to search for our new chief executive as co-founder and chief product officer. Pete DeJoy continues to serve as interim CEO. Before this week, we were known as pioneer in data ops space, helping data teams power everything from modern analytics to production AI. While awareness of our company may have changed overnight, our product and our work for our customers has not. We're continuing to do what we do best, helping our customers with their toughest data and AI problems. That is so funny, by the way. You guys might know about us now. We're a tech company. We help with data ops, data operations, analytics, things like that. But now, now you may know us for the Coldplay affair. That is so freaking funny to me. That is like absolutely hilarious. That like this has to be sent out. I understand that, like, you know what? To be fair, this is probably actually a pretty good statement. It's kind of funny that it's sent out, but regardless, I think it's still a good statement. It obviously talks about like, hey, this is what's fucking going on. Then we have, Andy Byron, who is our CEO. He's canned. And then also, you guys might know of us now, but for all of the wrong reasons. Oh my goodness. This is the real statement from Astronomer. They also have it in text and also in more of a statement. And ever since this had happened, people have, once it came out, people saw this very interesting reaction to being on what people were termed to the kiss cam. This is not a kiss cam. I've been to the Coldplay concert. Most people probably know what a kiss cam is. And most people probably have also not been to a Coldplay concert. This is not a kiss cam. This is not a moment for people to kiss. Chris Martin, and I want to set the record straight because, again, every single news outlet is running like a kiss cam. Like this is the viral kiss cam moment at the Coldplay concert. This is not a kiss cam moment. What Chris Martin does, he and the team, him specifically, he just has an acoustic guitar. The camera people will go around and they'll find a couple, or they'll find an individual person that's here alone or whatever it may be. Like I posted a video that Celine Dion was at the fucking concert. Like Celine Dion was at the Las Vegas Coldplay concert. That's super cool. She's not a couple. There's nobody kissing, nothing. But, maybe it's two best friends. Maybe it's, whoever may be. What they do is that, or what Chris does, is he just writes like a nice little 4 lines, kind of almost just like a little acapella freestyle to kind of be like, I really like your shirt and I hope our music doesn't make you hurt. Like just things like that. It's just a nice, easy 4 bars. It's easy. And then we all cheer for that person. And that's it. Person, people, group, whatever it may be. Like there was a group of like 4 yellow shirts. It's not a kiss cam. Okay? It's not a kiss cam. I want to set that record straight because for one thing, it irks me. I have no power in changing what the internet says that it's a viral kiss cam moment, but it's not a kiss cam. Yes, people know what a kiss cam is. Most people have probably not been to a Coldplay concert. So I'm setting the record straight. It is not a kiss cam. Am I worried about the wrong things? Absolutely. However, right as this moment happened, the next day, people had found out, who it was, that his wife had now deactivated her Facebook after changing her name. So she changed her last name. She immediately took that shit out. I'm assuming maybe to like give her a little bit of privacy, but now people already know that like she changed her name. So what she ended up doing was deactivating her Facebook. The company then suspended the two. And then they also stated that nobody else was at the concert that worked for the company. I think that's very hard to believe. They've, cropped the angle next to one of their other HRs, and it very much looks like her from the teeth, especially her canines, the two front teeth. Most importantly, the eyebrows and how they thin out at the end, and also the hair part. She has one hair part that's like slightly ahead of the other, and you could see that when she has her hair pulled back. So all that to say, they were suspended. They stated that nobody else was at the concert that worked for the company. But then Andy Byron has since resigned as CEO because of this public affair. This is wild stuff, man. This is like some wild stuff, by the way, Nationers. Like, you think about it, out of all the people, like, I was at the Coldplay concert. There was like 70,000 people there. And the one couple that they pointed at is in a affair. That is crazy. That is like crazy work to like be the one couple. Like, mind you, they did a whole bunch of couples before and after, but oh my gosh. Plus, I love the fake statement. I also want to express how troubling it is that what should have been a private moment became public without my consent. I know people clowned Andy for this. People are like, he did everything but apologize to his wife and kids. Like, that was like one of the first sentences in this, entire fake statement. However, people like took light that he just like was bashing Coldplay. I think Coldplay came out with like, let me go to Twitter. I think Coldplay came out with a funny, and then like really funny. Let me go to Coldplay. Let me go to Coldplay here. Yeah, maybe it was just like an edited tweet, maybe. No, heat advice. No, they're just giving. No, there was just some memes. I think one of the memes, what if I could do like Coldplay meme? I feel like it's going to come up with Andy Byron again. No, somebody, oh my God. Princess, we have the Muppets, we have the Obamas, we have Tim Walz and a whore. Oh, God. We have Dwight and Pam from The Office. No, somebody had the cameraman. They have them going down Splash Mountain here. They have the Grim Reaper and Fred from Scooby-Doo. But one of the memes was that Coldplay, like, oh, we're now offering like couples only areas where you won't be on camera, just in case you don't want anything that's private to be public. That was kind of the funny thing that happened. But yeah. I love it. Also, I'm seeing WNBA stuff is going on. Halftime. It's the All-Star game. Halftime just happened. And it's Team Nafisa Collier and Team Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is not playing out of a groin injury. But gosh damn it, Nationers. Caitlin Clark's team is trailing by 22 points. It does seem like Nafisa Collier has gone off for 18 points. It does seem that Kelsey Plum has also gone off for 14 points. I love that. Kayla Thornton, who struggled initially off the jump, she has 10 points. Okay. But yeah, she's got 10 points. Did Jackie Young get hurt? She's only played 53 seconds. Let me look this up. We're finding this out in real time, Nationers. Jackie Young. Well, she's a starter and she's hurt. Yeah, maybe she is dealing with something. Maybe she is dealing with something because she's only played 53 seconds. Didn't even shoot a shot. Like, everyone else has at least shot something. Angel Reese has got 4 points. Skylar Diggins got 3. Everyone's got at least 4 points. Or at least 3. Except Jackie Young, and I don't know why she's out. And there's nothing on Twitter showing me that she's out. So, all of that to say, watching some plays here. Yeah, this game is this is like NBA All-Star games right now. That's kind of what it's feeling like. Just run and gun, no defense. Like, does anyone have any block shots? Not a single block shot. We have a few steals. We have 1, we have 2, we have 3, 4, 5 steals at half. That's probably not too bad. And Any turnovers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 turnovers. All right. Not too bad. So all of that to say, that's what's going on. I wanted to at least inform you guys on what was happening in terms of this entire mess that is going down for Astronomer AI. Andy Byron, his family, his kids. Does seem like Kristen, the head of HR, who has not been resigned, but she has been suspended. She has not resigned, but she has been suspended. She's apparently divorced, so it makes sense that she would be at least mingling with someone, but it just so happens that the person she's mingling is her boss, and also he is married. So yeah, that's crazy. And you feel bad for the wife. You feel bad for the kids, because you feel bad for 3 of them. He has 2 sons, I believe, and then also now a wife who's probably again going to be his ex-wife, just because like that was so public. Like imagine something like that happening. It's private typically, but that was like so public. The entire fucking internet knows about it. That's nuts. Like yeah, that's crazy. Most people have been blurring out I don't know what her ex-husband and her kids look like. I don't know what his kids and his wife look like, just because they have been blurred out in a lot of ways pretty much throughout the entirety of, hey, this has happened over the last 3 days. So that all happened while I was doing my 100% completion for the Red Dead Redemption. And so like got on my phone after stream and I was like, oh shit, this fucking happened. So yeah, that was pretty funny, because it happened within like the hour or two, because it happened all the way in Foxborough. So that would have been 3 hours ahead of me, because that's in Massachusetts. And then on top of that, what also happened was that was at the very end of the concert. And the concert ran until like 11, like a little after 11, or maybe right before 11. Like, no, I think it ended around 11. Yeah, that's right, because we asked the security guard. They're like, oh, when did this end yesterday? So it happened around 11. So that would have been around 8. I would have finished around 8. So like it had just like happened, which is kind of funny. So all of that to say, there's some new things. The last time that I was in Vegas, I was there for a Coldplay concert. There was a bunch of gambling. There was a bunch of, it's Vegas. There's a lot of slot machines. There's a lot of card games. There's a lot of table games. And apparently something that's coming to Vegas is probably the one thing that should not belong in Vegas. That is Uno card games. Uno card games in Vegas. Now, Uno had apparently, Mattel, which is the parent company of Uno, they launched their first ever Uno social clubs at the Palm Casino Resort, offering themed rooms, new variants of Uno Golf, Uno Teams, Uno Show 'em, Uno No Mercy, or Show 'em No Mercy, cocktails, tournaments, photo ops, and even a Uno Suite with Uno Bowling. Just kind of like Uno themes. Think about it just like, think about it like you go to Disneyland. You're probably going to get like a Mickey Mouse, room. You might get like a Toy Story area, like things like that. Like there's different sections. So this is a social club. Now, Uno and Mattel had to come out officially clarifying the experience as a non-gambling and entertainment only, stating the casino floor is not ready for them. So a lot of people had initially thought when Uno is coming to Vegas, because that's what happened, all of the internet had at least thought that Uno was going to be a card game in Vegas. It is not. Uno's just coming to Vegas as a social club, a social interaction. You and your friends can go. You guys can play some Uno. You guys can play some pool. You can do a whole bunch of stuff. Just celebrate Uno. So a lot of people had suggested that like you would be playing like the game at a certain table, like you would for blackjack, Texas Hold'em poker, things like that. Like you would do at a table, play Uno, and it would be the most infuriating, because I mentioned, I thought about this on stream because I think somebody had mentioned it to me. They had asked like, what are your thoughts on it? And I was like, well, that's interesting because it is kind of a skill game. It just kind of is. Yeah, there's luck. There's like, what card are you going to draw? Like what money are you going to bet? What's the type of money you're going to bet? The other side of it, I was like, well, Texas Hold'em poker is kind of like at least somewhat of a skill game. Like, yeah, it's still kind of luck of what cards you draw. So like it could work. The format was just kind of interesting because I didn't necessarily know how the format was going to go. Nationers, $6.95 million. I don't think we're going to hit 7 mil on here unless somebody donates like $50 million. Because if they're in Central Time right now. So it would only be like 9 o'clock. They would probably be going to bed wherever, or no, they probably wouldn't be there. They'd probably be in Idaho or Montana right now. So only an hour ahead. So it'd be 8 o'clock. The Wheel of Doom could go in. That would be nuts. So all that to say, back on track with the Uno card game in Vegas. So again, what Uno is doing is that they are creating social clubs in Vegas. They're also going to be doing a bunch of pop-ups in LA, New York City, Chicago, Atlanta, and Austin later this year. And that should offer a lot more people in these cities to experience, think about it like a museum. Like a museum doesn't exactly always have the same stuff. Like some museums like rotate through themes and other things that would be the main set in a way. So that's what they're hoping to do in these other cities, and that's going to include game-themed drinks, tournaments, and likely free entry or contest wins, which I think would be kind of cool. Like, it almost is just like the social club. Apparently, what they're aiming to do is aiming towards millennials and Gen Z, people who would have been playing card games before their phones. Uno Mobile is a thing on. I've been sponsored by Uno Mobile before, and so they're craving, what they're hoping for is aiming at millennials and Gen Z craving analog connection, being like actually in person at these Uno social clubs. And what they're hoping for is reframing a $15 billion tabletop game market, which that's how much Uno is, into immersive social markets and social entertainment, which I think is honestly a really good idea. I'm assuming there's probably other companies or things that we would have grown up on like this. Like there's conventions that happen. Like Twitch has conventions, Pokemon has conventions, Minecraft has conventions, like things that we would have kind of grown up on in ways. Uno being more of a card game and just kind of that, with Mattel being like the lead company who also is Barbie as well. Like they host Barbie. I'm sure they host Hot Wheels, like Monster Jam goes from like city to city. And it's like, wow, like they're here for like a few days. Or think about it like Broadway, like Hamilton. Hamilton was here for a little bit in Spokane, and then they went, they're going to different places. So all of that to say, it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. I don't know what would be the closest one for me. That'd be in LA. I mean, obviously there's millions of people in all these cities. I don't expect them to come like to Seattle. Seattle's still like a 5-hour drive. Like it's still pretty far, especially with traffic. So that would not be something I think I would go to. But I think it would still be pretty fun. I would like to see the experience. I'm sure there's going to be some content creators be like, come with me to go to the Uno Social Club here in Vegas. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm locked in. Like, what's going on? So that's kind of fun. I'm liking the idea. I like the expressiveness that they're taking like a big brand, they're placing it more like in a area that people would typically do things anyways. Like Vegas, people are going to drink. Might as well play Uno and bowl and drink cocktails and do like Uno tournaments and just have fun. So it makes a lot of sense. Obviously Vegas, I think, is a great start if you ask me. Oh my gosh, it's a 24-point lead, guys. We are back from halftime. Kelsey Mitchell's got 13 now. Kayla Thornton's got 13. Now, Fisa Collier's got 30 freaking points, Nationers. Oh my gosh. She's got 30 points. She's going to break Arike Gumbawale's record of 36 points in an All-Star game. Mind you, all of them came in the second half. Yeah, Nafisa's going to go off. Nafisa's going to go for 36. She's going to win. That team is pretty stacked in my eyes. Alicia Gray was like she was awful for a bit, but now she's got 18 points. She's the second leading scorer. God damn, Alicia. Paige has also only got 4. She got like 4 points. She got like the first 4 points for the team and then like just dipped. So I don't exactly know what's going on there. However, back to other things. There's been some recent rap stuff that have happened. I'm a big rap fan. I love hip hop. I love lyrical geniuses, people making music that is very entertaining, music that I enjoy. And so I talked about it a few weeks ago in a few podcast episodes where Clipse, Pusha T, and his brother Malice, they're a group called Clipse, that Pusha T had apparently dissed Travis Scott on a song called So Be It. Now, the crazy part is that a few weeks later, Clipse was dropping an album, but also Travis Scott was dropping a collective album called Jackboys. So they also dropped one back in 2019, maybe 2020, around there. And it's just a collective. Think about it like Dreamville. Think about it like, just a small little collective of people, that artists, that they work together and they drop music. Think about it like that. Now, Jackboys is a collective and Clipse is a hip-hop duo, and they were releasing albums pretty much the same weekend. Clipse released theirs on a Friday. Jackboys released theirs on a Sunday. And so there was a lot of like, oh crap, like who's going to claim the number one spot? Like a lot of people are clinging on to Clipse. A lot of people are looking at Jackboys and being like, this is not as good. I think we've started to see this almost turn. We kind of see it with food where people are like, oh, fast food, DoorDash, like I just DoorDash everything. But now I'm like, oh, and then you start realizing like, oh, maybe I should like eat a little bit healthier. And so you kind of like almost flip, you kind of just turn the dial a little bit. And I think that's what we're seeing in music. Because over the past maybe 5-ish years, kind of around COVID, there's been a lot of this. I've always referred to it as like hip hop or fast food music, fast food rap, where it's just kind of like copy, paste. Whereas I feel like since, in the past year and a half, since, the Kendrick Lamar Drake beef, all of that transpired. Now this Clipse album, we also had a Tyler album last year that was like very raw and opening up, and like the songs meant something. We've seen these big artists like Tyler, like Kendrick, like Pusha T and his brother No Malice as a Clipse duo, in ways kind of put hip hop in a more grounded nature that people also want to hear good music, like rap music with good production. Doesn't feel like, and again, when I talk about fast food music, Playboy Carti, he dropped down with like 33 songs. That's a lot of songs. And like, I remember somebody making the argument, and it's like, well, yeah, if you have like 33 songs, like, yeah, a few of them are going to hit. But it's like, what about if you make all of them hits? Like the Clipse just dropped an album with 13, 14 songs on it. That's not a lot. That is not a lot of songs in terms of an album. So when you think about it like that, though, like every single one of those songs, like I thoroughly enjoyed. There wasn't a song where I'm like, yeah, maybe there's a few skips now because I'm not living in the moment, like of listening to it for the first time. But there's like songs I go back to, like Inglourious Bastards, Ibida, Fico. Like there's like those types of songs that you would not necessarily claim as like a single, like Chains and Whips or like POV or So Be It, Ace Trumpets. Like those were the singles of the album. But then you're talking about like the title track, like So God Let's Sort Them Out, So Far Behind. You're also talking about songs like one of my favorites at the very end, something about God, like God, there was a wall. I forget the title of it. Hold on. Let me look it up. Clipse, Genius. This is how I just look up every song and whatnot. Here we go to the album. By the Grace of God. That is it. By the Grace of God. So that's kind of the things that I look at. And I'm like, wow, like I really liked all of these songs. And then you look at, again, more of the hip hop fast food rap. That's just a bunch of songs. Like when I listen to the Sexy Songs for You, yeah, there's a lot of controversy around it. There was a lot of like, oh man, he stole this from Freddie Gibbs. There was artistry that was like very similar. And, there was like an underground artist that like used the CN Tower with like the same angle, and like Drake and Party Next Door kind of used that as well. And, there's a lot of general criticism about it. And when you're stuffing an album with 21 songs, I don't exactly remember. It's 21 or 20... 4. I don't know why the number is so drastic, but that's I look at it and I'm like, it's 21 songs. Okay. 21 songs. Like there was a lot of songs that felt really lazy. There was a lot of songs that felt very just like ear jarring. When I look at songs like Celibacy, I'm just like kind of grossed out. Like CN Tower's kind of catchy. Superman, Spider-Man just kind of memeable. Something About You, like something about you. Something about you. I think maybe that was how I felt like I would have wrote that. Meet Your Padres, just kind of like a meme song at that point. Nokia's pretty good. Like I'll give Nokia it. Die Trying was my favorite song of the album. Give Me a Hug just happened to be like, response to Kendrick, which that was just kind of it. Like, you threw on Pimmy's Dilemma, you threw her in the title, and then she has like 4 bars at the very end of the song. And I love Pimmy's voice, but this album doesn't really have much of a purpose. And I feel like, again, with this turn where things are a little bit more intentional, people feel like there are purpose to the music that they're listening. And yes, there's probably a vast majority of people that probably like, wow, like I don't really care. Like it's music, like just enjoy music. I get that. But I also want to enjoy music that also kind of feels intentional in a way. And like, that's how I definitely listen to music. And so Clipse dropped an album that's very intentional, very purposeful. Like it's their first full-length studio album in 16 years. Like I didn't grow up on the Clipse. I'm sure maybe my mom and my dad heard of them. But then you're talking about Jackboys, Travis Scott, an artist that I definitely know, somebody that I definitely grew up on a little bit more. But I'm saying that the Clipse is a way better album. It just is. I haven't even listened to the Jackboys album, but everything that I've heard about it has given me every intention in every perceived notion prior to listening to it that it's not going to be a good album. There's certain artists when it comes to like the auto-tune or the satanic like worshiping like look or feel that I'm just like, I get so turned off by. You know, there's also like just kind of like the certain what they talk about. I'm just kind of like, okay, like you can talk about like women or bitches or like whatever, like, but again, in the Clipse album, they talk about it, but it's in such a different way that feels like it is intentional. And so like there's a reason I've never really liked Future. There just is. Every time that I hear a lot of these artists, Future adjacent artists, or like Travis Scott or even like Drake, I'm just kind of like, wow, they're just kind of rapping about the same thing. They're like copying the homework but making it a little different. Like Future in a sound as pivotal as it has been in years past and throughout the 2010s, it just is not music that I'm very much for. I just finished up the season of the Dissect podcast, and like the entire season dissecting Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, I was just so enamored, and I was so like, wow, like this album is like way better than I initially thought. And it gave me like a different light about it. And when people are making videos dissecting in a way, kind of ironic, but just like going deep into the messaging and like the purpose, because music isn't just music, just so you could put it out. Music is art. That's what it is at the end of the day. It's art. And so when you have a artist, because again, they're artists, a musical artist that, you know, puts work into their craft, you know, learns music theory, people know like music theory is not like the hardest thing to learn, but again, people that are big on their craft. It's not just factory working. It's just not like, okay, like you come here, you do this, you work on your stuff, and then we'll pump it out here in 6 weeks. It doesn't feel like that when I listen to the Clipse album. Tyler, the Creator's dropping a brand new album this Monday. After, goodness sakes, we're going to have to talk about that next podcast because I think it's going to be a good album. I like the messaging behind it so far, the rollout. He did this with Chromacopia like a week before. Like, things dropped, Noid dropped, the little snippets that dropped. I was just like, oh my gosh, like, 2 weeks from now, like, we're getting an album from Tyler, the Creator. So all of that to say, I'm excited for the future of hip-hop. I'm excited for where it's going. And most importantly, I'm very excited to see where it goes. As a fan, as a listener, that's definitely tried to dive more deep into it from an intentionality standpoint, a historical standpoint, also with my own music, trying to be better in writing, trying to be better with my flows, trying to be better with the beats that I choose, trying to be a little bit more intentional in the making of the music. And so all of that to say, Nationers, that is everything that I want to talk about in today's episode 79 of The Realest Podcast. I hope that you guys surely did enjoy. If you guys did, make sure to leave a like on the YouTube channel, on this YouTube video. Make sure to subscribe. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so it would mean a lot if you guys do subscribe. Most importantly, if you guys are watching this on any audio podcast format, then make sure to rate this podcast 5 stars. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode 79 of The Realest Podcast. Sal is right behind me. Have a good one, Nationers. 07 and peace.